So this lesson, I kind of want to wrap this guy in some kind of card so it looks a bit better. And I also want to kind of center the card and do a few other things. So let's just make a bit of UI this time just to have some fun. Now, the first thing I want to do is kind of wrap this in a matte card like this. Now, when I start using something material design-ish in Angular, you know that we need a module. So I'm just going to wrap the form in a card, and I'm going to go down to my auth module, and there I'm going to now add the matte card module. So you have to remember doing that. I've done it, missed it so many times that oh man, just remember it. Remember it for me, okay? Now we have the matte card, and that's perfect. Now the next thing I kind of want to do is I want to explain that the matte card should actually only be taking up 50% of the actual space available right here. It should be centered, and it should be taking up only 50% of the available space. I want to do that as well. So how do we do that? Well, I need to actually add a div around this like this, and that div is kind of going to be my main container. Remember, we're always talking about flow layouts and main containers in this flex layout that we're working with. So I kind of need to make this into a layout, and let's just call this a row layout, because this card is going to grab up the row, right? So in this direction, it's going to flow in this direction, not the column, but the row direction. Sweet, so now we've done that. Another thing I want to kind of explain to us is that the layout of the alignment is going to be centered, meaning that it's going to be placed in the middle. All components inside this layout is going to be placed center of the application. What else do we want to do? Well, I want to kind of explain that this guy should only have 50% of the width. I'll just write fxflex50 right here. That should be it. Let's try and have a look if that helped. If it's doing what I'm expecting. There we go, centered and only 50% of the actual available width right here. Sweet! Okay, so what else do we want? Well, I want to also explain to the form that these fields should actually grab up full space, and we're going to do that as well. So let's just start here and explain that this layout is not going to be a row layout. It's going to be a column layout, because I kind of want these fields to be boom, boom, boom in a column, right? So I'm putting that in there. The layout is going to be column like this. There we go. And now I'm going to just explain to this guy that he should just grab up all the available space. So should this guy, and so should, no, not the button for now. We're going to do something different with the button. Let's just try and see if this helped. There we go, boom, boom. And the button is still this fab button. Let's just get rid of that. I want, instead of having a fab button, I actually want just a basic button right here, because I think that would look cooler. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Maybe it shouldn't be that basic. Maybe it should have a primary color right here, just to try that out. There we go. Now we can kind of see a login button down here. I'm satisfied with this. So now we have some kind of login form right here. And we could even add, like in the top right here, maybe we should add a small H1 saying logged in or login or something. Let's actually do that in the top of the card. I actually think a card, let's just try and check out the cards, because I think they have headers and footers. So notice that's a header and a footer and a content. And yeah, that we have a header right here. Let's try and use that guy. And then we kind of have a content right here. Let's try and use that as well, see what happens. So jumping back to the code, the content, that would be the form, right? That would be the actual form. That would be inside. That would be my content. So let's put that in here. Again, let's just align this a little bit, because it's getting harder to read if we don't align it. So that's the content. And then we kind of need the header. And let's just grab this, because there's a title in there. So I'm just going to paste this in. You can go and grab all of this directly from your Angular Material IO, right? So you can just go and do that if you want to. And I'll just call this the login, and let's just have a look if this actually worked. Now we have a login header, and we still have everything centered right here. Sweet! So that's pretty much all I had to do. Now I have a login view, and I have a few login fields available. And there we go. Now we changed the UI a little bit so we can log in. See you in the next lesson where we'll have even more fun.